Hi everybody, welcome to the Thrive video for our supporters, the people who pray for us and who give to the ministry. We always like to give a little bit back, and so you did get a newsletter. If you didn't open it up yet, there's some little more details there, but we wanted to show you some behind the scenes pictures and videos and stories of our trip to Cuba. So this is the first pastors conference that we did in the church in a place called Isabella Rubio, right?
Isabella Rubio.
Yeah, and so this is about maybe 50 or so pastors plus missionaries on top of that, pastors and their wives. So we did a morning and afternoon with them, and I also have a little video here that you can kind of a turn around outside and walk in, so you can get a feel of what it was like.
Parents have the opportunity to speak over their family that we will serve Jesus. They get to teach that, and they get to live out that example.
So Pastor Tyler taught on biblical parenting, and I taught the pastors an encouraging word from chapter 42 of Isaiah. Chapter 40 of Isaiah. Chapter 40 of Isaiah. I'm glad she remembers my message. This is great. And I had to show you a picture of the food that they made for us. You can see the pig, I think. You can see the fish. They both gave the ultimate sacrifice there. They were totally committed to the meal. And wherever we went, we were fed very well, mostly because we paid for the meals.
Yeah.
Because they cannot pay for the meals. It's really horrible. Didn't have a chance to get into this in the newsletter, but average salary there in Cuba nationally is $15 per month. And the inflation has gone, just multiplied. Even since we've been there last March, prices are higher, and it's a desperate situation for them. But we did get to feed the pastors, and when they came to the conference, and also we got to give them a gift.
Yeah, so here you see a pastor and his wife, and they're holding a gift from the children of Cornerstone Fellowship in Alabama. So in the summer, there's a kids camp for the kids in Aniana, and they raised money particularly to send gifts to the children in Cuba. And so these supplies are for the children's ministry in the different churches. So they're craft supplies that the helpers who came to the camps that we held in the spring can use in the children's ministry. And also you can see the pastor holding an envelope. Cornerstone generously gave a substantial amount of financial help to these pastors, and they were really, really grateful. We made sure to tell them that this was specifically for their family, not for the church, because their automatic response would be to give everything to the church, but we wanted to make sure that their family was taken care of first in this situation. So it was a blessing to give to them, and many of them go without meat most of the week, and so it was just an opportunity to bless them, and they were so thankful, so receptive for those blessings.
Yeah, we gave each pastor couple we gave them $70, which doesn't seem like a lot of money, but if you think of that in terms of what they normally get, that is 5 or 6 months worth of their salary. And so if you can imagine receiving a gift of 5 months of your salary, it would be really substantial. And so they were so grateful to be able to receive that, and we were grateful to be able to give it. This is the group, maybe you saw this picture in our newsletter, but this is the group, the second group at a different location, pastors and missionaries again in Pinar del Rio, which is the capital city in the district of Pinar del Rio. And the pastor that we work with, this is his church, and you can see his house is actually at the side there, and there's a little lean-to, sort of a carport basically, but it's a really long extended carport that will hold 100 plus people. So this is where we were holding our second pastors conference.
And by the way, Trinity gave money for a generator for this house, and they're able to hold night meetings because of that. Otherwise, there would not be electricity for lighting. And so because of the lighting that Trinity provided, they're able to expand their ministry, and the church has grown because of that. They've seen increased numbers even since March, since the donation was initially made.
Yeah, it's not just for the evening services too, because the power is not available very much there in Cuba. There are blackouts every single day, and average of 4, maybe 5 hours of electricity per day. And that electricity could happen, it's random, so it could happen at any time. So sometimes they wake up at 2 a.m. because the electricity comes on at 2 a.m, and they do whatever they need to do in terms of cooking or whatever while they can, because the electricity is going to go off, and then they'll go back to sleep. This is what they're dealing with there.
Yeah, and then they have to get up and go to work the next morning.
Yeah.
So very, very, very intermittent electricity availability. Also problems with water availability as well. So very, very hard life there.
Yeah, and this is a great story here because last time we were there in March, this lady was sick with cancer. She had some chemo treatments, but she was really last stages and was very sick. We prayed for her together with the pastor there, but it looked like she would not make it. And we asked about the lady this time, and the pastor said she's completely healed. In fact, she's helping make your meal today. And so we pulled her out of the kitchen, and this is her, as you can see. I mean, she looks 20 years younger, and she looks healthy, and she's got her hair, and this is really a miracle because only the Lord could have done this. So we praise Him for that.
Yeah.
We had opportunity to go out to a church in a little city called Ova, which is the church that was planted this year with help from funds from Trinity Community Church in Knoxville. And so this was, earlier this year, we went and we prayed in the city, and we prayed for God to open up a possibility for a house there. And if you remember, you can't build a church building in Cuba. The only church buildings that are there are the ones that were there before the revolution, 1959. Those they left. They're allowed to use those. You can't build any more since then. So this is why they meet in homes. But you can buy houses. And so we prayed for God to open up a door for a house and for God to bring the funds. Well, the door opened up, and this is the house, which is now the church. This was actually a barn portion of the property, and you can see that this is actually the house where the pastor and his wife are living. And so the possibility opened up here for this really beautiful piece of land. It's got some land that they can actually grow some rice on as well, put some fruit trees on as well, so they can actually raise some food there. And I have a little video here as we're walking up. You can see we're just walking up. It was quite a while. It was a 10-minute walk maybe from the road. Mm-hmm. And you can see the farm land that's nearby it. This is the Pastor Tyler was actually teaching. We came later because we couldn't all come in one time because the car we only had one car, and we had more people than that car could hold, and so the car had to bring the first group and then come back and get us, and then we went. And by the time we got there, the church service was already going on. This is inside. You can see the church service. There's little stalls on either side. This was a little barn area. Now they're making rooms out of those. There's a little kitchen there. We were able to also supply them with some like a rice cooker, and something that they could use to cook there, and also some lights that are rechargeable. So when the electricity is on, they can charge and they can use the lights. And so little things like that, little by little. This is a very small church now, but it's only been going about two months. And so it was we were grateful to get to meet the pastor and his wife here. As you see, they're working hard in a difficult area. This is the youth meeting that happened, or one of the youth meetings. We split up into 4 different locations, and we did youth meetings on Friday. So there was over 100 youth at this meeting. Really challenged them to allow the Lord to expand them, and the way that the Lord expands them is by giving them vision, as he did Nehemiah, by using their spiritual gifts, as we see in Romans 12, and also by expanding their hearts during hard times, hardship, difficulties. Expand our hearts, and I encourage them to not be afraid of hard times, because they're made for hard times. Hard times is where God takes away the worthless, and he multiplies the fruit in our lives. And so while I was preaching from Isaiah, there was a song there that they kind of spontaneously started singing from the verse I was sharing. So this is the song. And that song is the "No weapon formed against us will prosper." So that was a joy to be there. Then we went to a place. If you've read the newsletter, I wrote a little blog about Loma de Candela, a little village, and so we went there to help this couple, Abel and Agnieszka, and their little son Aaron is here. And so I'll let Amy tell this story a little bit.
So this was, I think, the highlight of the trip for both of us. It was just a really wonderful time to connect with the pastor and his wife personally. This wonderful lady is the coordinator for kind of the mercy ministries of the different churches in the Methodist Association in Pinar del Rio. So there's 55 churches. Each church has a representative that specifically reaches out to the elderly and to disabled. So she coordinates those efforts. On Mondays, they connect with each other, these representatives, and they share their needs. They share encouragement with each other. And she submits those requests for help to the central office in Havana. And the central office does what they can to send supplies and help. Sometimes the supplies have to come from overseas because there's not access to a lot of the medications that people need. So this afternoon that we were visiting them, we were able to take some supplies to them. We sat down and heard her testimony, which is absolutely incredible. She gave up a very stable career to become a pastor's wife and to serve in a very small village with little to no resources, and she's faithfully serving there and just repeatedly exclaimed about the goodness of God and how much he had blessed her. It was just incredible to see their faith and their gratitude towards the Lord. So I think we've got a picture of their home. This is the pastor's home. And you can see us distributing some of the supplies that we brought for their ministry.
It's just one size. Hopefully it will have
This is important because there are almost no medical supplies available. It's very hard to get anything.
Even
medicines.
really simple things like ibuprofen and
And
over-the-counter
this is the house
items.
of the pastor and his wife. Yeah, this, if you can see there across the street from the house is the church with the red tarp on it. That's the church building. It has a tarp on it because the roof has been blown off in the hurricane. And so they don't have a roof, but they have a tarp. And they meet there and they serve the needs of this community in a beautiful way. One great thing that was happening is we were able to go with them on a visitation to one of the ladies that is down the street. So it's just maybe a kilometer away. So we decided to walk with them down the street, and I'll give you a little bit of a once around to see what it's like to be on the street there.
There's Aaron,
There's Aaron.
our 6-year-old son. He's a testimony in himself. Anyushka was told that she couldn't have children, and was woken up one morning at 3 a.m. by an audible voice saying that she was pregnant, and ended up being true. And so they were blessed with Aaron. They married at a later age. She was 30 and he was 38. So just a real blessing to have little Aaron.
Yeah. And there was a little story about little Aaron too, as we were walking along.
So I was wearing these sandals, and they had just about given up the ghost. And while we were walking down this road, one of the straps came off of my sandal, and so I just kind of tore it off and threw it away. And then another strap broke off, and so I couldn't keep my shoes on. So Aaron was volunteered to give me his little rubber sandals, which almost fit. And so he was just as happy to run around barefoot. So I wore those for a little while, and it was a neat moment of connecting with them. The pastor's wife said, "Oh, you've got some stories to tell now." But this house here is where a lady named Amelia lives. She's probably in her 80s, and she may weigh about 80 pounds. This house is literally a shack, as you see. There's no electricity, there's no running water, partially dirt floors. And this lady was one of the founders of the church. And so on Mondays, Anyushka and another woman from the church would go and bathe her and feed her and make sure that she was okay. They'd check on her from time to time through the week as well. But it was one of the most pitiful things that either of us have ever seen in our lives. She was just sitting in a wooden chair with some of the slats missing. She urinated there on the floor. She was blind in one eye. She had sores all over her with flies all over the sores, and that was her life. And she has a son who lives down the street, but he doesn't take care of her. And in fact, if anybody brings her anything, any supplies or anything at all, he comes and steals from her. So she has nothing except the church to help her, and this is the only way that she survives. And it's just the most abject poverty that you've ever seen, and such a hopeless situation. She's completely disabled, but she does have the church, and she does have help from Anyushka. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was just a real blessing for us to kind of join hands with them just for an afternoon. And Anyushka mentioned it before we left that the material help would have been the most meaningful for a lot of people, but for her and her husband, what meant the most to them was that we came and we spent an afternoon with them, and we encouraged them, we prayed with them, and they were just so grateful for that, just that personal connection.
Yeah, and we were able to pray personally for a lot of these pastors here. We prayed over every one of them as they came and received their gifts. We prayed for them, and they are so blessed. And this is the reason Thrive Ministries exists: is to encourage and to resource and to teach and to bring hope and to build relationships and hopefully ongoing relationships with pastors and leaders in different nations. These people are heroes. They're absolute heroes. And if there's anything that we can do to help them, it's a privilege, it's a joy to be able to do it. We are planning to go back next year. There are 2 trips planned. We will probably go on only one of them, but there's more and more connection to these churches for family camp, for worship, for pastoral training, and for ministry to children as well, children's camp. So this is part of what you help us do. I'll tell you one thing. I thank you so much for your prayers, because we had our transportation was near perfect in terms of no delays and things like that. Our food, we ate a lot of things that could have not been good for us, and it was all okay. And I messaged the prayer team back the first or second day we were there, because there was a mosquito-borne virus, and it's like a pandemic across the island. There are so many people who are sick with this virus, and we were just asking for prayer. Please pray we don't get anything from these mosquitoes. And when we were in the village, Loma de Candela, we were sitting at the table there eating the guava and the papaya and the coconut. And Amy had a dress on, of course, and she got bit, I don't know, 25 times maybe. She had mosquito bites all over her legs. And it's one of those things where, oh Lord, if you don't just heal, if you don't protect, I don't know how we're going to make it. But we made it.
We made it. Yeah. So grateful. So grateful.
Yeah.
For your prayers.
And here's one more picture there of the pastors and their wives. This is on the very end over here, blue shirt, pink dress. This is Pastor Norberto and his wife. And
Ailka.
Yeah, Ailka. And these are brothers and sisters that you have helped so much with your prayers and with your support. So we thank you so much. We're really grateful for that, and we will stay in touch with you. Our next trip is going to be in January, so we're here for the holidays. January is going to be Poland and India and Sri Lanka, so it's going to be a long trip. We'll keep you posted on that. And we love you guys. Thank you so much for all that you do to help us.
Thank you.